All right, guys, going to talk a little bit about a topic that's kind of taken off recently, a little bit, since it was talked about at 2016 Isaac Asimov Memorial Debate. Is the universe a simulation? I guess, we've all probably seen the movie The Matrix. It's kind of a question back a few years ago when The Matrix was running too. People kind of laughed it off a little bit, but I was watching the debate here, the Isaac Asimov debate, and pretty interesting stuff. I mean, you got the brightest minds in science, some of them on this panel, and they're talking about this, and it's difficult to take this stuff seriously. Obviously, if you ask most people, they're going to laugh, think it's a joke, but really, is this possible? I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I do find it kind of fascinating, if you think about it. We have our everyday lives, everything seems real, and emotions and pain and those kinds of things. But what if indeed, they are still real in our minds, or in our program mind, or whatever you want to call it, or in our existence, our simulation, whatever it is. So essentially, they in my opinion, they are real, but we're not necessarily flesh and blood per se, as we would expect ourselves to be. Is that possible? So if you haven't seen this debate on YouTube, you can look it up. It's right here. It's pretty interesting stuff. Got the brightest minds in science, like I said. Neil deGrasse Tyson, if I'm not mistaken, he said he thinks it's 50-50 that we are a simulation. Which is obviously a yes or no. Obviously. So that would be 50-50. I've done some other reading on this subject, and these guys aren't going to bring up some of the paranormal aspects of the universe or of the Earth, our world. Like Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster, other ghosts, other abnormalities. I don't know. It's pretty crazy stuff. There are people that believe that indeed, those are glitches in the Matrix. Those are little programs, rogue programs running around, or put in by the simulator. So, who knows? These things can't be proven that they exist, but thousands of people have seen them. So there's something going on there that can't be explained. Matrix itself, they talked about deja vu, which what is deja vu? I've had places I've sworn I've been to, people I've sworn I've talked to, things that I can swear that I've done, and relive those, but I can't remember the first time, or pinpoint it, or whatever. So who knows along those lines? And one of the things that that happens to me, not a lot, but it's not rare either, is when you're looking for, say, where are my car keys? So I'll use a simple example. Where are my car keys? You look around, you're looking around, check the table, check by the TV, whatever it is. Check on the kitchen counter. You're looking. Go in the bathroom, whatever. Who knows? Come back, and there the keys are sitting right on the counter. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be keys. It could be anything, something in the garage, whatever it is. And you're thinking to yourself, I just looked at that particular location twice. I could have swore they weren't there. Did something or someone or some program just make them appear when you left the room? Did our mind do that? I don't know. That's crazy stuff. Probably not. If you ask me, I would say that the odds are that you just overlooked it, but that's pretty weird stuff, and it happens to me on occasion. It happens to a lot of people I know. It happens to everybody I've known at some point. And another a gentleman that was on there named James Gates. James Gates. He was on the panel for the Asimov debate. He was actually studying this. He was looking into parameters and he actually found what he believed to be error correcting codes in everything, as far as like supposedly living entities, us, whatever it was. That was my impression of what he said. Maybe that's not what he said, but why do we have error correcting codes? That's pretty crazy. And he mentioned it as being one of the things that kind of made him think maybe that we are a simulation. Maybe that it is possible. Everything can be broken down to a mathematical explanation. I mean, as far as everything in the universe, from life to space. So, and there are things that physics cannot explain. I saw another little YouTube video about there are some equations that believed to be true, but the only way they can be true, they can't fully explain why they're true. The physics is that way. I don't know a whole lot about physics, obviously, and theoretically, the only way they could be true is if we are indeed a simulation. So that's pretty mind-blowing stuff here. I'll go back to a gentleman, last name of Bostrom, Nick Bostrom, talks a little bit about the Matrix, if you will, in another online here. Bostrom is not saying that humanity is living in a simulation. He's not saying that. Rather, his simulation argument seeks to know that one of three possible scenarios must be true, assuming there are other intelligent civilizations besides us. If there are, they're probably more advanced than we are, more than likely. He says one of these three things must be true if there are other intelligent civilizations out there. And people, not everybody, but most people understand that there are billions of stars with planets rotating around them. So mathematically alone, the odds of there being other life, there has to be. I'm sorry. That's the way it goes. And one of those, or a multitude of those, probably have intelligent life. And he's saying that if, number one, all civilizations become extinct before becoming technologically mature. That's one of his scenarios. So that means like we destroy the Earth, we die before we can really become technologically mature. Number two, all technologically mature civilizations lose interest in creating simulations. That's possible, obviously. Number three, humanity is literally living in a computer simulation. So, he's saying one of those things has to be true. It just has to be. And he goes on to talk about how that, whether it was before this particular page or after, if you have the technology to create a simulation, you will create it. You will create it just to see what it's like. You will. You have the power to do it, so you'll do it. It takes enormous computing power, but can you imagine us in a million years? What are our computers going to be like? They're going to be just beyond comprehension for us right now. So, you have to consider those things when you think about this stuff. And those are three good points. He's just saying one of those has to be true. So either we'll become extinct before we technologically mature, or just going to get bored of creating simulations, which still means they're simulations. And the simulations could create simulations. So we could actually technically be a simulation, which is pretty crazy stuff. Humanity, or we're living in a simulation. There are things that if you ever just think about yourself, like you sit down, maybe you're having a little moment driving a car, or you're out in the backyard, you're like, what is going on here? What am I doing? Is this my simulation? Pretty crazy stuff, but interesting nonetheless. So, just give it some thought. I think it's pretty cool stuff, but I couldn't say either way. If I had to say, I would take the safe route and say we were not a simulation, because they'll probably never be able to prove it either way, in my opinion. And who knows? Maybe if they do, maybe that's when civilization ends. I mean, do you keep a simulation around once it realizes it's a simulation? Where's the fun in that? So, I don't know. If you think about the Big Bang, was the Big Bang just the creator, or the power, or whatever, or maybe even God in some people's minds? Did he just flick a switch? Is that when? Because if everything expanded, into what we see right now, and still expanding, from the head of a needle, I mean, is that just the power being turned on? I mean, think about that. Makes complete sense. So, interesting stuff. Yeah, just thought I'd make a quick video on that. Again, I mean, I have no idea. I'm not smart enough to comprehend some of this stuff, but really though, how can you explain all these things? I mean, it's just mind blowing. You think about space being infinite, the universe being infinite. What? I mean, and do things not really exist until we actually look at them? Yeah, I can hear about California, but is it really there unless I go there? And then all of a sudden, does it turn up? I don't know. Interesting stuff.